to you live from an upload speed of 1.17 megabytes per second. It's time for Destiny Down Under.
G'day and welcome to the 250th episode of the Destiny Down Under podcast. As per every week, I'm Log Power Slave, joined by a man hell-bent on eating his piece of pizza before the podcast starts and just failing ever so slightly. Mylan Games, welcome to your own podcast.
So, I don't know if you've done this before, but I tried it for the first time then. I was in a rush, right?
Yep.
I opened up the cold pizza box.
Yep.
I got the pizza out. But there was two pieces stuck together. So I didn't separate them. So it's just like one giant piece of pizza.
Yeah. You don't do that all the time?
No.
Right? You want to know the real hack? You just get two that are like slightly joined and then go fold them over. Eat two pieces of pizza at one time. Maximum efficiency on pizza eating. I'm telling you. It's the new meta of pizzaing.
What do you think about pizza crusts?
I always get the stuffed crust because I'm pretty intent on giving myself a heart attack at some point. I'm like fucking. Whenever I see an 80-year-old person, I'm like, fuck that. I'm just gonna get stuffed crust from here on in. I'll be gone by then. It's evil shit, man. I don't know, but I do. I genuinely always get that. Like fucking. I don't even know how they make it. Like they've got like some kind of extrusion machine where they pump fucking cheese into the rim of a crust. I'm like, what? Yeah. What do you think about like base? I can tell that there was no stuffing in the crust you were just eating. Give us a rating before we move into talking about Destiny and all that other shit that we do.
Yeah, normally there's more like flavor in the crust, and this is a bit plain for my liking, and I'm sort of not digging it.
I reckon they should all pizzas should be rimmed by like garlic bread. There shouldn't be a crust. There should just be like a border of garlic bread.
Yeah, so when you make your own pizzas, right? We had a I went over a friend's place and they had a pizza oven. And we made our own pizzas.
Yeah.
Right. And everyone could tell which pizza was mine because it didn't have a crust.
Yeah,
I was like,
why do they have a crust?
Well, I
so you can
realized
pick
it's
it
so
up?
you can hold. Yes, you can pick it up. So I went to the very edge with this molten hot lava cheese. Couldn't fucking pick the pizza up.
Yeah, but yeah, you can. You can't eat it like that.
Oh.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's totally fine. I think you're an innovator, Matt, and don't let anyone else dim your bright light. Okay.
Thank you. My mum always told me I thought different.
Yeah, just built different. I think if there's anything that typifies this podcast, it's just been a bit unconventional. Anyway, aside from hoofing into pizza, how's your week been, Cobber? What have you been up to?
I've been zonked, mate.
You're a little bit out of it. I can tell.
Yeah, I'm not all with it. Just been trying to get through playing the game and reading the lore and getting all the juicy vids out. It's been busy.
You've been, because I normally have a morning wake up to a Mylan Games notification that something has come out overnight that you've obviously scheduled, unless you're staying up that late, in which case you're in big trouble, young man. You've been working your ass off. It's probably, you know what this is? This is fatigue from working, Matt. This is the thing that you started content creation to get away from.
Yeah.
But
this is true.
It's okay. It'll settle back down. I mean, look, we've had, this week was always going to be, like this week and the first week after launch were always going to be the two most brutal weeks because the amount of like insanely cool lore that has come out on the tails of the raid is like, I don't know. We're going to have to talk about it because I probably
honestly
haven't been this fired up about Destiny lore in, I don't know, if ever.
I think Rhulk broke me. I think that video broke me.
I thought that was a good video though. Like, you did a great job.
I know it was that took 10 hours of research to do that 10-minute video.
Yeah, I just turned up like 3 minutes before you started and assumed you'd dropping Scooby-Doo Rhulk.
Oh, by the way, did you say, fuck you. Do you know? Okay, no, let me tell this story to everyone because we were 10 hours deep into a stream. I had done literally all the research, I had all the notes ready. I'm about to record. Loggy comes in and's like, "Oh, Rhulk sounds like something Scooby-Doo would say, a Rhulk? Raggy?" And it just fucked up my pronunciation for the whole video. And I was listening back to it, I was like, this doesn't sound right. And then I opened up the dialogue with Mara Solve, and I listened to Mara Solve, and she's like, Rhulk. What? And I was like, Rhulk. Yeah, I was like, Rhulk, like Raggy? Rhulk, rather than Rhulk.
I can't even pretend it was intentional. I was just,
it worked.
It was just
it worked
me shooting
time.
from the hip.
Yeah.
But I'm like, since I saw his name, I couldn't unthink that thought. And every time I've heard someone say it, I wanted to go, oh, really? Whatever. No, yeah. I didn't because I watched you record it. I didn't watch the video initially, and then I was getting over people DMing me going, "Oh, you fucking shitting on you at the start of his video," and I'm like, "Fucking, what have I done now?" Like,
hey, and that got that's probably the most.
Yeah, the video that starts with 30 seconds of me calling me a fuckwit is it's to the moon.
Yeah.
Anyway. Well, at least it's accurate. It's probably about time most of the community were warned. I'll find a way to drag you back down. Look, I don't know. Do we want to start? Do we want to just talk the raid? Because I know that, like, you know, it was immediately after the podcast last week, more or less, that the gates opened on Vow of the Disciple. We had the world's first, the race to be world's first, and then 48 hours of contest mode for clears. You jumped straight in with the DCP crew and put in a fucking admirable effort. Do you want to talk about that?
No.
Righto. It's going to be a short podcast. Anyway, I suppose you can go and watch the VOD. It's about 14 hours long and the rest.
I had a very tactical sleep because I had to be up. The raid was at 2 a.m. for me.
Yeah, it's pretty. 2 a.m. or 1?
No, it was actually 2. I had it wrong. It was 2 o'clock.
Right.
But I thought it was 1, and then Rin tried to convince me it was 3.
Well,
and she tried to convince me that we have daylight savings here when we don't, and I live here and she doesn't. She's like, "You got daylight savings?" Like, "No, we don't." She's like, "Yes, you do."
Did you at any moment stop to question the nature of your existence?
Yes, I thought. Yeah. Wait, do we?
She's a very convincing person when she wants to be. You
like,
do have one.
Yeah,
so you got up super early, and who was your team?
No, I get this. This is how I got to. I went to bed at 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
6 p.m.
6 p.m. I made myself a cocktail. I got into bed with a cocktail. Right. I got into bed with a whiskey sour. I slammed it.
Yeah.
Then I watched some anime and I was out like a light. And I slept for like 6 hours and I woke up at midnight, got up, got the stream ready, got my snacks. I'd already prepped all my snacks, put my little fruit platter out, my little chips. I got my chopsticks so I can eat it without get my fingers dirty.
Yeah.
And then, then we started at about 2 o'clock in the morning. Fair few bugs, like opening bugs were a bit tough for sure. Lost, had to repeat the first encounter 3 times or so, which a lot of people experienced. Got through the first encounter, not too many troubles, to be honest. It took us a while, but we got there. Caretaker was probably the really first big stumbling block.
Yeah.
Very ammo deprived. It was actually our biggest issue was not the mechanics, was just not having enough ammo.
Just the DPS check.
And the only way past that we he glitched. That was also quite buggy. He glitched out.
And he was just able to be hit continuously. Yep. Yeah, I've seen I saw a few of them. Yeah.
So we used primary ammo on our second DPS phase, which meant we had all of our heavy for like the final DPS phase. So that's basically how we got it. Was that after telling everyone not to use weaken on their grenades, didn't realize I had weaken on my grenades and was wiping off 15% damage every time I threw a grenade, which was nice.
Very good.
Because, weaken goes over the top of tether, which is 30%, and weaken's only 15. And it
yeah. Didn't they fix that this week, though?
Or maybe that's fixed now, but...
Yeah. So you were just cock blocking everyone's DPS.
Yeah.
I probably would have done the same and not even known. It's fine. I can't judge.
Yeah. And then the bit that broke the camel's back was like the relic run, essentially. It was... It's so cool because it's like a speed run essentially, and couldn't get it. Teft and Watson that left, and we filled in, and I think I went for a total of 18 hours in the first, and we just got to the last room and like, oh, this is another fucking room.
I mean, my experience was a little bit different because we went into it knowing that there was no way we were going to even really try to do it all the way through. And we got in and, it was Sass, myself, Keg, Rin, Hammer, and Adrian. So pretty cruisy team. We jumped in and just sort of enjoyed the fucking gondola ride of the floating thing. And I thought that was, I think it's a great introduction to the raid. But sort of the first encounter, it took us, I don't know, probably an hour and a half or so to get through that, just to get coordinated and all of that sort of stuff. But
just memorizing the symbols is like
that's what it is, and like some of the random call outs, because obviously at that point no one had pulled together a list of all the call outs to be able to reference. So because there's so many, we couldn't really agree on what they all were. So we were just like aggressively trying to describe each of them. Like ascendant plane was 2 jellyfish, one of them's upside down, or like just. Or the enter doorway right at the back is just like the thing that looks like the Assassin's Creed logo. And I think that like as much as it was ridiculous and it was probably holding us back, they're the things that I'll remember sort of going forward. We got through that and we got up to what's the big dude with the hood? What's his name?
Caretaker.
Yeah, Caretaker. So we got up to there, kind of had a couple of little runs at it, and then we heard a big clap of thunder over Discord from Sassy's place, and then he's just dropped, he's gone, he's lost power. So at that point we kind of pulled up stumps.
Is he underwater?
There was a lot of water around then. It was kind of he's all right now.
Dude, I saw Skill Up's tweet. Did you see Skill Up's tweet?
Yeah, horrific, man. I mean, look,
he's in fucking Sydney. I didn't think it was Sydney.
a lot of inner Western Sydney has been absolutely fucking smashed. And if you're in that area, obviously, look, let's go out to you. It sucks. I mean, I'm in Newcastle. No stranger to floods, but thankfully this time around we've managed to shrug it. But it's been wild, man. This whole fucking town's underwater. Like there's not enough going on in the fucking world. I feel over the last couple of weeks, it's absolutely shit. So if you're affected by that, I'm sorry I didn't address that off the top. I got too caught up in taking a piss out of you eating your pizza. Terrible. A lot of people, completely displaced and not even really able to return. So we're thinking of you. So that was our experience on day one, and kind of had a bit of a dabble around, and like the next day with a different team got nicked through the first encounter and stuffed around a bit at Caretaker and sort of did the same thing. So I didn't really have a crack at it, and I'm kind of chipping myself now in hindsight. I'm like, I've probably got to do this properly next time around because I felt like I'd missed out a little bit. But seeing a lot of people's frustrations too, I imagine I would have been pretty salty if I managed to finally beat Caretaker and then got fucked out of it by an error code or something. So I can understand where people were coming from, but holy shit, there was a lot of spicy takes after the fact about the raid and the contest mode and all of that sort of stuff. So Yeah, I don't quite know what to make of all of that, Maddie. Have you got to take? What did you think about the extension of contest mode for
Yeah,
a
I think
further
it's
24
perfect. I think they
hours?
should do that. I think they should do that all the time. Make contest mode 24 hours just encourages teams to go 24 hours without taking a break, and
Yep,
that's not
it's not healthy.
it's not healthy, and it's not skill based. It's a limitation of how much time you have and how much responsibilities you have in your life. And I think if you do 48, you can do 2 rounds of 12 hours, or you can do it over 2 days, or at least try over 2 days. And I think that's completely fine. I think they did the right thing by extending it. And I think next time it should be a standard to be 48 hours to give people a shot. Because if you do it in 48 hours, then the main thing you're doing is you're just getting rid of, or you're making it easier for people to complete it time wise. Like, it's still the same difficulty. People acting like it's fucking,
Yeah, like it's somehow
like all of
cheaper
a
to be
sudden you
doing
get
it
12
on the
hours and
second
it's
day.
like
Yeah.
it's still contest mode. You're like, oh, you got more clears. Yeah, you got more clears because people didn't have to be fucking psychos and stay 24 hours to do it.
Yeah, people actually got to like sleep in the middle of having a crack at it, or maybe step away from it and not be dog shit fatigued and think about some of the encounters. I think the only valid comment I've seen is that maybe it's kind of like the more people get through, the more a meta of like approaching activities and stuff forms. But we're still talking about a 48-hour period. In that time, like how many teams do you reckon genuinely went through that are like completed it in 24 hours that didn't reference what Salter or what Data or what any of those teams were doing whatsoever, right? It'd be
Yeah, but here's the thing: like
fucking tiny.
we even knew the encounter for Relic, and we knew how to do it, but we couldn't get it done.
Yeah, that's it. Like, it's no easier. Like, it's just maybe you remove the step of having to figure out the entire encounter by yourself that like the first 1% of players will have to do. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, there are some strategies, but nothing. Like, we didn't find it was really set in stone until a little bit later. Like there were still things we were getting confused about in the Relic run.
Yeah.
And I couldn't really see a great guide yet because the guides don't come out for a little bit longer. So, it still wasn't possible for us. We were still missing some key pieces of information, even though we tried to find it. So, I think
Beyond that, like the DPS checks, watching, I sat and watched it most of the morning before jumping in and giving it a go myself. And the DPS checks were fucking real. Like, that for me is like when people are starting to really use specific loadouts to get a shot at finishing off a boss, that like that's really the, whoever's the most switched on to how to put down the most damage in that context is going to have the most joy. So I don't know, man. I've seen so many shit takes this week, and it's not just PvP, but PvE, sorry, and not just raid related. And there's been PvE ones as well. But like, fuck me, can we just get to a point where like, just if you're an elitist about a video game, go and do some kind of tertiary education or something. Do something else to hang your hat on in life, because you've just been a fucking idiot over nothing. It doesn't matter. It's just shit.
I mean,
but go and sit down, right? If you are so proud of what you've achieved in Destiny, go and sit down with your parents, right, at a dinner table and start telling them about it. They won't fucking care because it doesn't matter in real life. They will be like, are you getting married? Are you having kids? Have you got a job? Right? Fuck. Grow up. Anyway.
So I think, with all that said, I think there could be a different reward for doing it within 24 hours.
I think if they're going to go the way of like a 48-hour clear, I'm not saying that it's wrong for people to want some recognition for clearing it in 24 hours. It was the way that people carried on about saying that people that did it between 24 and 48 hours didn't deserve it. So
yeah.
That's what I'm on.
You know what? Like, even if it was like within 24 hours, it's you get the guaranteed exotic.
Yeah, look, I agree with that. I think that's unreal. I got it first round.
And then You what? You
I've
got a
got
first run?
Yeah, I've
You're
done
such a
one raid clear and
fuckhead.
I've got. Oh, I know. Aura fucking chewed me out about it. It was great. He was not impressed.
Either that, or you have two different emblems. One for then you get to the point where you've got an emblem for everything. Or this is what Tef's recommended, and I thought this was fucking
I'm
great
gonna
idea.
whatever this is. I haven't heard it yet, but I'm going to agree with it because I've never disagreed with anything Teft has said except about warlocks being good.
It's pretty big brain. So
Right.
you have like trackers on your emblems.
Yep.
Imagine if it showed you your placement for World's First on the emblem, like
Well,
Team 10.
we've got websites that track that shit. Surely. Yeah. Look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How cool that you know what? The biggest sweats would love that because you could get your emblem out, you get your fucking literally your electronic penis, slap it on the table and go, look at that. Top 10, top 50, top 100.
Or the time after the raid launch that you finished it. So you'd be like, I did it in 8 hours off the bat. You could be a little. I mean, it's effectively the same metric, isn't it?
Yeah. rank or hours, whatever.
In game, I think
I
would be
like
nice.
that.
I agree. I think it's
like
yep. See, I knew it'd be a good idea. I'm down. That's what we need next time round.
The other thing is, I think contest mode is like playing Halo on is it heroic or legendary? Which is the easier one? Always forget. Heroic.
Yeah.
You know how it's like this is how the game was designed, like the encounters and everything. It's like I feel like that's the raid. Like a raid was designed for contest mode.
Sassy said something similar when we were running it, and he's like, for me, this has always felt like the purest kind of way to experience a raid because it's fucking hard, but it's not inorganically difficult. There's a few champions and stuff, but once you get into those masters, it always gets a bit silly. It's like it's way more punishing again, but not necessarily because of the light level disparity. Because it's more mechanically, and there's more thrown at you. I think I would love for there to be an option. I would love for there to be a permanent option. Like here's what opens up after people have completed contest mode, normal mode. Here's master, where maybe you go in and that's where you go about farming your adept weapons. But here's contest. Here's the difficulty level the day one difficulty level that we designed it at. And it can just be its own bespoke thing. Maybe, it'd be a way to, who knows, maybe you get fucking better armor drops in one, better weapon drops in another, whatever.
They would have to sort out all the how it would be different from master and all the rewards and all that kind of thing.
To be perfectly honest, I think the less champions in activities like that, the better, because I don't mind it in GMs, right? Like, because a GM, you're sitting there with your two mates
different.
Before you go in going, right, what do we need? But you go into a raid, I think, like as much as you're not loadout locked and you can change on the fly, but it does, it really did restrict and govern what we chose to use in that first encounter. And, like we were doing fine with the exception of just those champions that needed to be dealt with. I don't know, like I wish they could make things tankier without them needing to be dealt with in that way. Like the specific mechanic that locks it to a weapon. I saw Ninji's idea through the week. He replied because I tweeted about it. And he wrote like, I'd love Destiny to get to a point where we just have a mod that you put on a gun and that makes it do that thing rather than it be tied to a weapon type, which I think would be probably make things very easy.
Yeah, but then then it's like, well, then what's the point of having them?
I don't know. Yeah, look, I don't think there's a perfect solution. I just know that they're just kind of, they feel very inorganic to me is probably the way I'd say it, which is a funny thing to say in a futuristic space video game, but who knows? So let's talk a little bit about the raid itself, aesthetically and thematically and conceptually and all of those things. Stunning. What did you think of it when you first walked in?
I'm telling you right now, when you guys get to the DDU, I've spoken about this shit the entire week.
I know.
I did a summary yesterday. I do summaries on stream. So you get the real,
the absolute
abridged version. You get the fucking real bullet points by the time you get to this stream.
That's fine. And we've honed the blade, but that's why we can do this in an hour and just rip through, because it's basically me putting like little sprinkles on top of Matt's already honed bullet points.
So it obviously looks fantastic. It's inside a pyramid ship. It's like I don't know, what's the Doctor Who thing? It's like a TARDIS. It's like big on the inside.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's pretty nuts. It's like
Yeah,
basically entering a pocket dimension. But as we were talking about last week, it does have that real like black brick tile aesthetic and like this all the weird kind of Mesopotamian type weird art everywhere. I just think it's like unlike any other space I've ever entered. It's nuts.
Yeah,
like
well, you know what it is?
What?
It's like when you go into the Natural History Museum or something like that. Like I just expected a
yeah.
T-Rex, like the T-Rex,
except
and it's
instead
a
of
worm.
walking under
It's
a giant
entrance.
fucking whale skeleton, it's just a worm's ass. Or like, here's a. You've ever seen a horse with 6 asses? There you go. Fucking
True.
right. Look, I was pleasantly surprised with the look of it. I think it's and it's not bereft of color either. It's pretty foreboding, but there's still there's
the
still
skybox as well though.
Oh,
How
it's
good's that?
stunning. Just the massive worm and the what's the thing called? The fucking upending.
Upender.
Upender. That's it. Right.
Or is upending?
I think it was made to be turned
Upended.
Upended. Upper decker.
Upended.
Upper decker. It was made to be a wallpaper. I'm glad they've released the art. It's fucking incredible. Caretaker, I don't know. I don't understand anything about Caretaker, right? I'm sure he's just a dude that's been given a job. Right, bullet points. You've got 3.
I need 1.
Yep.
He's part of Rhulk's experiment to introduce worms to the Scorn, and it was successful.
Okay, so we did a good job. Caretaker's a good boy, doing good
Good wormy boy. Good wormy Scorn boy.
I like the fight. I think it's unique in that, like, I played the role of being the role that you played earlier with the DCP crew of being just whack me. Fuck.
Have you gathered the symbols?
I have. I did
symbols
that.
are fun too.
I did that the first time, but like I've got a pretty pickled fucking brain, so I've got to and I know it's annoying for anyone I run with, but I've got to run through and be like, okay, I've got fucking hive, give, whatever, and just repeat them until I come out and shoot them. And everyone else is like, I can't fucking think. What do you just shut up? So I'm once they're in my brain, I'm sure I'll be all right. But yeah, it's
I like the floating staircases and this. It's like a library almost, like this fantasy library.
It is. It gives me that that vibe of, and it's cool in that it's an ascending fight as well. Okay, you've got to stop him getting to here, and then he pops up higher up, and I really enjoyed that. But I think it's novel in that sort of. You're not necessarily trying to outright defeat the boss. You're just trying to hinder him so that you can then defeat him. And I like that. I thought it was fun. And doing that job specifically is good fun. You can get your.
The only thing I didn't really like, and I assume this is intentional, is just how you do DPS. It just feels a bit clunky.
It's very Destiny, isn't it? Stand on the plate, shoot the boss.
No, well, obviously they had rotating plates, so that gets rid of things like bubble in just a single. So I see what they did there, and then his precision crit box is very odd, and you just half the time I can't fucking see what's happening because he's like, and he's got fucking 5 tethers on his face.
And you're just hoping for the best. And Divinity's not really an option either because it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, you can't really see Divi. So
it's body.
I sort of feel like I get what they were trying to do. They're trying to get away from doing that, and that's ended up what we did in the end. It was rockets and fusion rifles ended up being a little bit better in contest mode than your linears. Well, if you hit your linears, they're obviously a lot better.
Which is a big issue.
Same with Sleeper, but sometimes he just he does a funky chicken and he walks in really weird ways, and it's very hard to get your hits. And then if you fuck up your DPS, then you're done.
He's obviously been watching Rhulk. That's for sure. The next encounter, I can't remember what they're called, but it's the running of the artifacts from every raid we've had up until now. Pretty cool. I'd seen it before I did it, so I didn't get that pleasantly surprised kind of thing. But when we ran it on normal mode, it was the part that we had the most trouble with. It was by far and away the most annoying part because none of us had done that part before, but we knew how to do it. So it was probably the most pissed off I've been in a raid in 2 years, just because we knew what we had to do and we kept finding a way to fuck it up. Someone would fall off, mainly me, but it was just, I don't know how anyone did it on contest.
Do you know what I really like about that run? It's 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 not easier. It's if there's no weak links in a really like not like mean way. If there's no weak links, you can just haphazard it and you can get it.
Yeah.
And everyone knows what's happening.
Yeah.
However, if you are trying to help someone, there are so many things you need to explain to get like rotations working,
and it all
it's really
happens
fast.
so fast under
And it
like,
happens
duress.
all fast. and you also can't show people the other rooms. You have to get there for them to see it.
Yeah, you can't walk through it first and be like, oh, there'll be a guy appear here. Like, I think we got to the last room. We managed to just scrape through. Right, in the end, we didn't do it easy. It was an ungainly run, and we got through. But it was like just trying to shoot the knight with the pyramid in the last room was what got us over the thing. So it's like, oh, he's fucking down there, and like that communication of where, fucking where, shoot it where he is so I can see. Oh, and
there's lots of little things that like I didn't fully understand at first, like how you need a relic to see. I still don't know which one it is. The glyph keepers, right? If you have the relic, you see one, and if you don't have the relic, you see the other one.
Yeah.
I thought it was just random. I didn't realize it was.
I knew that before I went in, so I can't really knock you for that.
Yeah, and that was actually one of the things that got us when we're doing in contest mode. We thought it was just randomness with the relics that you can see. And also, we weren't really sure about the Riven's Eye. The Riven's Eye really threw us, how it would go left, right.
Yeah.
And because we thought it went left, right, and then we thought it broke that, so then we didn't actually know if it was alternating each time, and that just really, really fucked us up. And there are little things like that are difficult to explain to new players, which can make that encounter pretty troublesome.
That, and by the end of it, everyone has to carry. Because
we'll have to do something.
There's no option like someone because of the timeout, and like there was one point we were standing there kind of waiting to swap over because we'd obviously done something quicker than we were meant to or something, I don't know, but I think it will be the encounter that annoys people for like I can't imagine how hard that would be on Master. It would be fucking nasty. It will be the one, and then like. Obviously, moving on to the dapper pants man himself, Rhulk, standing there with his hands behind his back, looking down upon us,
just punting everyone into the oblivion.
Yeah, I mean, when I first saw it come up, right, like because I was watching, I think I was watching Dado's stream when he got there, and I was like, "What the fuck is this? Like, what is a Rhulk? Like, what's going on?" And kind of, I didn't rate it like off the bat. I'm like, this thing just looks fucking weird. But then once they got,
you didn't rate it.
I was just like a floating guy just there going, yes, like some kind of fucking anime villain, which is
I loved it.
It's kind of cool. But once I saw him up the top, actually moving around and like the part where you actually fight him instead of trying to dunk, and I saw someone get fucking drop kicked into oblivion. I'm like, yes, this could be my favorite boss ever. I'm here for this. You know what? No more boss stomps. We're going to do boss head kicks, and you're not going to like it. It's just a really insulting way to be killed. I think it's being dispatched.
Have you seen when someone like hides behind the thing and he walks out and kicks him? Did you see that on Twitter?
No, I'll have to have a look. You'll have to send it to me. Flick it
Someone's
to me.
like hiding behind like one of the 4 pillars at the top, and if he goes out of bounds, he just walks on like these like
Little light patch things, yeah.
Light platforms, and and the person's hiding. And he goes,
shit.
Walks out and he goes, yeah, boots the shit out of him.
Good. So I mean, I think like obviously it's just the gift that keeps on giving in terms of meme shit for Destiny, and everyone's frothing over him and all of that as this community tends to do anytime a big bad comes in. But I think the fight's great. It was once we got it down, it was actually fun. Like I did dunking, so that was my job. I got yelled at to do that on the first run through, and I did a pretty good job. I don't think I let anyone down, and had a good time doing it. But I think as it goes on, we did one person dunking, right? And I didn't understand that you could do 2 people at the same time and speed it all up. So it'll be interesting to see where we are in a few weeks' time with like what the actual meta distills to be to destroy and to get through that first part, because I think the second part, it's kind of like you've got one person who in our group was Sassy that's just annoying the shit out of him, like making him target them, and then the other person doing the symbols, and the rest of us are just like, I don't know, lingering around killing Thrall.
Yeah,
and
the
trying
boss
not to
mechanics aren't super tough.
Yeah.
I think it was just contest mode. Obviously, it was like absolutely killing everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I ran out of ammo. We kind of starved ourselves of ammo at the very back end of ours, and I could see how, like, I can only imagine how hard it would have been to do on contest mode. So if you manage to get it done and you're listening to this, rock and roll, solid effort. But probably
the cool thing is, this is the best. You know the best thing about the whole raid log?
What's that?
How many times did you stand in a well or a bubble to do DPS?
Well, only in that. I mean, in a bubble, no, none ever, because they're kind of redundant by the fact it's moving. I think I did bubble wall at the end of Caretaker when you're advancing down.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
you could probably do it during the final phase of Rhulk if you were. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Does he kick you out of it? Can he drop kick a fucking Titan with their arm up? Is that a thing? We're gonna have to find out now.
I'm sort of keen to look at how much you could tank if you're in.
Yeah, just
if you're in your bubble.
I mean, it'd be pretty funny to see it. Just, I mean, the whole team would be fucked at that point. But yeah, you're right. There's really no standing in a well. You know, there might be the initial drop of one. So I like the fact that they've changed up damage phases. I think that, you know, that's one of those things that has long been a bit of a meme of, oh, go here, stand in this, shoot that. And that's the Destiny boss mechanics.
And what did I tell you? What did I predict with Void 3.0? Mechanic heavy raid.
Yeah, you're
inbound.
right. Look, I was a bit overwhelmed watching people doing that the first fucking encounter. I'm like, there's fucking how many symbols? Like, I don't like doing Riven because there's so many symbols. Like, there's 700 different types of fucking bird in Riven. I don't want to know about it. And then this one, they're all like just abstract shit. I didn't realize that you could just walk through the thing beforehand and see all the names of them. You know, I probably should have spent a bit more time there. But you're right. It is. I don't know. I don't think I don't think Rhulk and I don't think Caretaker are like. I wouldn't say they're mechanically like overburdened in a way. Like I think that they're a good mix because you're effectively like there's what I will call dumb boy jobs, the jobs that I get given. Just going down there and piss him off and try not to get killed. Okay, Dad, no worries. But you were right. Like walking into that first room and seeing how many doors there were and going, oh my God, 25, fucking hell, that's a lot of symbols.
The interesting thing about having this moving DPS phase is Divinity is always, like I was just seeing now, like the meta previously when you have stationary is, you know, it was a well and bubble. And now it's like moving DPS phase, Divinity's almost given. Like Linear's just fucking wreck.
Shred. Yeah.
Yeah, we did like over half damage with Linears with Divinity. And I don't know if I like that, but it would have been really fucking hard without Div. That's for sure.
I don't have Div.
I don't know what the world's first did. I'm assuming they use Div and Linears, but
I'm not sure actually. I'd have to go back and have a look. But I mean, speaking of world's first, Salta Greppo, Slap, Kairos, Moople, Quaz, and Cruz. Congratulations. Fuck me, it was close. I was watching Salt stream and watching Datto's stream at the same time. It basically came down to who could put down the DPS. So that and like going back to back in raid races, we've never seen that before. Absolutely nuts. So solid effort, congratulations, well earned. And I mean, they had a fair few issues too. They had a pretty cursed run in terms of error codes and glitches and whatnot. So. They did it the hard way and still managed to get there in the end. So I don't think anyone can doubt the fucking absolute tenacity of that team. So congrats.
Yeah.
Right. Let's get into the real meaty part of this. Rhulk.
Oh.
The lore. And I know you're not in the mood, so I'm not going to bust your balls about it for too long. But dude, what a character! Like, part of me, and I'll say this like just as a complete, you know, nuffy. Part of me is upset that I didn't know all the backstory before going in and doing the fight.
That's what I always tell people. Sometimes it's better to know before you go.
Yeah, because like this guy would have seemed heaps more epic, right? Before, because like when you understand that he basically obliterated his whole fucking planet, then you go, oh shit, we might have to take this guy seriously. He's basically a, mass murderer on a massive scale.
Yeah, he's very similar to how Callus finds his shadows of Callus, which I'm assuming is very intentional because Callus, I think will be a disciple of the Witness. So this idea of one thing surviving like mass extinction and then like elevating them to superpower people is sort of like Rhulk's story. Bit of a psychopath, likes killing and all that kind of stuff, like murdering, disowned by family and essentially a regime on his home planet, and then just chopped everyone up and then blew up the sun.
Yep. And killed the whole
Chop 'em
planet.
up.
Killed the whole planet and then just said, cheers, I'll throw my lot in with the Witness, who came past and said, you know what? Good job. And then, I don't know, I assume he was giving a museum as a reward or something, whatever.
So the museum part is Rhulk ends up doing experiments. Well, no, that relates to the worm sort of part. So then Rhulk kidnaps, coerces the worm mother Zeta to join the forces of the Witness, essentially, and they make the worm larvae.
Yep.
And that's like big bombshell that essentially worm larvae didn't exist before Rhulk found Zeta.
Yep. And they are a direct concoction of, ultimately the Witness and that sort of dark side. Like they're not in sort of an inherently evil thing because they just exist that way. They were manufactured that way and it's deliberate. So
yeah.
I mean,
and that links into the campaign because we see the Witness talk through the white worm, which we now know is like, artificially created.
Yep.
By Rhulk as Worm Father, which is the little
yeah, old mate in the gun. What's his name?
Old mate in the gun calls him Worm
Father.
The Queen, Deception Queen.
Pain. Yeah, him. What's his name? Mr. Pain. I don't know the mechanics of how someone like Rhulk buffs a gigantic worm. The worm that's underneath the fucking upend. Like how I don't know.
It just says like he can.
He's like I suppose he could be an adoptive father, or like that's pretty.
Well,
right.
yeah, he didn't really buff it long.
Look. Well, like they weren't getting born before he turned up, were they?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. But it says he cuts bits off her sort of deal.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what that kink is.
That's the whole bit with the experiments. I think that's why the Night of the Museum's like that.
Yeah, and I mean all the scorn with worms on their head trapped in carbonite as you walk in. I mean, I know that's not what it is, but I don't know. I mean, once I read that, because I watched you put together your video on it and then got to face him myself, so it felt like a bigger deal. So I don't. It's not a criticism in that, like, I completely understand why the lore of a character like that would be hidden behind the raid that is just all about them as a character. But I feel like sometimes getting like it misses the build up. Like, I don't think we've seen sort of that Taken King. Like King's Fall.
Well, that's
when you walk in and you were like, I know who Oryx is. Holy fuck, he's 15 stories tall and I've got to fight him now. I'm 30 stories, whatever.
I think there's value in both though. I think there's value in both.
Totally. Because
I think there's value in knowing who you're fighting, and there's also a lot of value in the surprise of seeing the boss. And it was one of the things that really annoyed me is because we couldn't get it done, so I had to have it ruined for me by the cutscene, because everyone's like, "Oh, there's a cutscene."
Yeah.
After I was like, I so desperately just wanted to get to the boss so I could have my reaction in that room.
Yeah.
And not necessarily finish it, but so I could see him.
Yeah.
And you sort of get not robbed, but you just don't get that opportunity if you don't get it day one. And look, there's value in having a boss we have no idea about, because I think this has really opened up the Destiny universe and the excitement for other planets, other stories, other alien
Yep.
species. But also, like you said, it does take away some of the value or the meaning, how meaningful it is.
I'll say this for it, and like, you know, be that as it may, we got the lore out of the raid. I was genuinely a little bit concerned, and I don't know whether I've spoken about this sort of on the cast or not, but I was genuinely concerned when we defeated Savathun, right? Someone that's been massive in the canon of Destiny for, you know, basically since the get-go, you know, for as long as any of us can really remember. And it was kind of like, okay, well, that's done. And here's this other character that's come in, the Witness. We don't really know anything about them. I'm like, shit, if this isn't engaging, it could, you know, a lot of people will feel like, you know, it's a bit harder to invest in this new story. Then the raid lore comes along, and the story of Rhulk and his backstory, and I'm like, yeah, no, we're sweet. I want to know more about this. I want to know more about sort of through Rhulk. I now want to know more about the Witness. I'm heaps more intrigued, and I'm heaps more like, I feel like we're gonna face like a few disciples. Like there's going to be a few people, maybe they won't be referred to as disciples, but I agree that we're probably going to face Callus at some stage as a disciple. And fuck knows who else he's got sort of squirreled away for us to fight. So if they're as interesting as Rhulk, fucking bring it. I'm down. And I think it's been a welcome sort of change in terms of like, we didn't need another Hive raid, you know, we didn't need necessarily another Fallen raid. So this was a completely a different direction, and I'm for it. I really enjoyed it. I think it's excellent.
Yep, I agree. Big time. And the post raid mission was fantastic for building a bit more story too. It revealed a lot of things about the raid and, you know, the Leviathan bone and things in the. You know what I'm gonna say next day.
Yeah. but say it.
The post raid campaign, the post raid mission was great. Got a lot of lore in there. That big room with the Leviathan bone is sort of confirmed. You get a reunion if you take in your annoying worm friend. He gets a reunion with Worm Mummy, and it sort of fills in some of the gaps from the lore books as well. And you can also get your lore books as well. Savathun Witch Queen popped up in chat, and that's also relevant because they finally solved the ARG for the Collector's Edition book, and that revealed that we, as in this universe right here, might be the parent universe of Destiny itself, meaning we're all connected, and that Savathun's trying to break out of the game and into our universe, which could explain how she's on Twitter and stuff.
It's like that. I mean, she's like a less funny Deadpool, I guess. She's now talking to us directly, which is kind of a little bit intimidating. I mean, Keidel's done that as well. Remember that season of The Chosen? She took over the Twitter account as well. So true. I don't know. I like that. I think it's a lot of fun. And honestly, if Savathun ambushes me out in the street, I think it'll be a noble death. I'll be fucked. That'll be the end of me. So rock and roll. Right. We need to. I want to talk about this because I paid more attention to the seasonal story this week after being admonished for not doing so last week.
I haven't finished it. You haven't finished it, so you tell me.
Look, admittedly, there's not much, but there is some pretty extensive dialogue with what's his name, Salad Bowl, Lord Saladin, saying that he kind of converses with what are the dudes that are doing the mind stuff? The
Scions.
One of the Scions. And he kind of relays what the experience of that's like. And it kind of made me feel better about all the horrific torture stuff we were talking about last week, because it doesn't sound that bad, right?
Okay.
It sounds like it's kind of like he's conveying moods and all this sort of stuff through. I mean, it's worth watching for yourself, but it's I don't know. I think it took a bit of the sting out of last week because I was I hadn't thought about it properly, clearly. And I was kind of like, I was coming around on the story. This definitely throws a spanner in the works. There's no Crow this week. No tantrums this week, just a bit more exposition. So I'm interested to see where it heads. And I'm kind of engaged in it, more so than I thought I would be. You know, traditionally we don't get the strongest seasonal content coming alongside an actual DLC release. But, I mean, this is enough to, you know.
Don't you reckon they should have just like released it this next reset?
Just let everyone get the Witch Queen out of the way, and then the actual season starts a couple of weeks later.
Yeah, like after a week after the raid.
I wouldn't have had a complaint about it. Like it would have been fine. For me, anyway. I don't know if anyone else has a spicy take on it, why it wouldn't work or what, but fine by me. Yeah, all right, cool. Well, that's that. All right, let's just follow on the quickly blast through the TWAB, and then we can maybe talk to chat, see what they think about the raid. Okay, so here's the numbers, right? Total players that entered the raid on in the first 2 days, I assume 48 hours, 546,616. That is a big number. Over 500,000 people had a crack. Players that cleared the first encounter acquisition, 270,000. So that's me. Players that cleared caretaker, 131,000. Players that cleared exhibition, 80,000. So there's a fair drop there, Matt. That's probably fair enough that you didn't get through that. And then unique players that cleared the full raid, 32,621. So congrats if you made that. Then there's, look, how many total enemy defeats? Over 1 billion. Get wrecked. Scorn. I hope you've got some in reserve because we're doing the damage. Total hours spent in Vow of the Disciple contest mode. 4,223,843 hours. That is just fucking massive. It is immense. Right, trials coming back this week. I'm not sure. I haven't had a look at what the breakdown is, but I know that the Summoner is returning to the loot pool, as well as Aisha's Embrace, the Scout Rifle. So it'll be interesting to see if we get any juicy lore on that, Matt. Have you? There
is apparently. Show your a story.
I thought it might be a continuation of that, but we'll look forward to that in future weeks because I think there's quite enough to fucking talk about at the moment.
Yeah.
Iron Banner is coming around as well. It'll be around at reset. I already have both of the weapons because I was cheeky and I kept my Iron Banner engrams over the season. So
you little shit.
I didn't think that was a thing. I thought I was just doing it for the XP, and then everyone's like, you could get the actual weapons, and then I did it and got both of them. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I don't particularly like the hand cannon model. I think it looks.
You don't like it?
No, it looks like a spud gun.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, and there's a sword as well. I like the sword; it's pretty cool. Razor's Edge. Right, that's about it. Look, that's the pertinent stuff in the TWAB. If you have attempted the raid, what we want from you now, Maddie, what's our new segment called?
High lows,
highs and lows. What was your favorite part? It could be anything. It could be the lore afterwards. It could be Rhulk. It could be getting kicked in the face.
Yeah,
I reckon. And then your low moment. It could also be getting kicked in the face. It could be, I don't know, getting stuck on something. It could be anything.
Highlight, low light, exactly. I think the highlight is Rhulk's, I'm being cheeky, Rhulk's character design. Oh, I'm taking multiple. Character design, mechanics, and lore. It's a triple threat.
I mean, you're allowed to do that. It's your show.
He looked good. He fought good. And good backstory.
The best comment I've seen about when first Rhulk was encountered, someone in the chat went, "Look at the fucking shins on this man," and I've every time I've seen him since, I can't help but think about that. Look at the fucking shins on him.
Low light.
Yep.
Low light is ammo economy on Caretaker.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. My highlight, definitely the lore, more so than anything because it's bit me again, and I'm keen to.
Takes a lot. forget logging into it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it depends where I'm at, just in life.
This
in
has really
general.
piqued your interest in
Yeah,
comparison.
I'm keen. Like I want to know more. I want to, and not just
Why is
about.
that?
I don't
Because
know.
it's like more sci-fi, it's more fantasy.
I don't know. I mean, the whole fucking thing reminds me of like a Tool film clip, and maybe that's sort of what gets me. It feels. Maybe it's just that it's fresh, you know, like it's a new aesthetic, and you know, Rhulk is something that we haven't seen before at all. And I mean, as is The Witness. Maybe it's just that freshen up that I'm like, oh shit, I don't know what any of this is about, and it's all really, really visually kind of disturbing, but also classy in a way. I don't know. The whole raid space is just strange and abstract, and I'm into it. Compared to
I feel like it opened up the Destiny universe to being more sci-fi. And I think that's what makes people excited.
yeah. I
I
mean,
know we have things like the Dreaming City and this that. I don't know. Roll Kid's different. I don't know what it is about him.
I think it was how direct he came at it. Like he came into the story too. It wasn't like it. You know, I mean, it runs contrary to what I was saying about getting a big introduction to the character and all of that before you face him. But he was something completely different, and he's like, "Well, I'm fucking here." You know, there's no big foreboding sort of like, "Oh, the pyramids are coming for 4 years," kind of deal. It was like, "Oh shit, here's this guy, and he's fighting on behalf of the Witness." Maybe it's that. Maybe it's that he. I don't know. I mean, he just looks so condescending at all times, like just with his hands behind his back. I don't think I've ever seen a raid boss or an enemy in a game with such attitude, and he'll shit talk you too if you like. If you're struggling, he will absolutely voice dialogue triggers, and he will shit talk you. And I think that adds to, you know, sort of the suspension of disbelief that you're not just doing, you know, playing a video game, you're fighting an enemy, and I like that. Probably my low is just, you know, just the issues that we had, people getting, you know, yeeted and connection issues and the bugs and all of that. And to be fair, like it's the first time we've really experienced that in a day one raid. It's a shame. I'm glad Bungie got on it really quick and dealt with it the way they did. And yeah, some of the fucking idiots carrying on about it, but that's just me. I stew on these things. Right.
There's some good highlights, lowlights in here.
All right, let's go through.
Highlight getting a hero moment that's IP defining. Yeah, killing Rhulk. Yep. Lowlight the wiping to bugs. Yeah, definitely. Highlight. This is going from Senshi. Enemy density throughout the encounters. We haven't spoken about this, but
yeah, true.
I feel like the raid was very specifically designed for Void 3.0. And if you were running Void 3.0,
you're going to have a great time. You're going to be able to sit back and watch the fireworks. It's beautiful.
Yeah, just blowing everything up. I thought it was fantastic how you could have your build and it works. It wasn't, you know, like I was punching shit and it was blowing up.
That's, I think, and it was a concern of mine too, because the build, like the Heart of Inmost Light thing that you and I have both been doing sort of since launch. For me, it felt like something that it was going to be fun in like easier content, but once you got to more difficult shit, you were really it was going to be too risky.
Yeah.
And like maybe at the back end of the raid, had I managed to get there in contest mode, it would have been that way. But we weren't dying in the first couple of encounters.
Ads. Yeah.
To ads. It was mechanics. So I felt like the enemy density just added to the spectacle rather than made it like overwhelmingly difficult, because you could handle it with Void 3.0. So I think they nailed that. What it does do, and I think it was Paul Tarzi said this in a tweet through the week, that it makes all of the old content feel really sparse. You know, like you're going in, there's 3 dregs and a vandal. Shit. Like, who gives a fuck? I'm used to killing like things in 70s, right? They're just endless waves. You and your fucking 3 dickhead mates. Why would I care? Yeah, definite point. What was Senshi's low light? Sorry, I didn't catch that. I spoke all over it.
Yeah, difficult is ammo. Lack of opportunities to get heavy ammo.
Yep.
So, you know, champions and stuff. So, yeah, agree with that. Lots of stuff about atmosphere, highlight atmosphere of the raid, low light bugs are coming up again about the bugs.
Lots of bugs.
Experience day one raid, didn't mention that. Like a lot of people jumped in. Yep. Nice, plenty of time to grind. Not even grind. Easy to reach the level. contest mode. Saturday, that's definitely a highlight. Lots of people opportunity to jump in.
Keggy, who, the third and most talented member of the DDU, who does all our overlays and all of that sort of stuff, he plays heaps more casually than you or I do, and he was able to get up to level and jumped in, and it was fine. And I think that the more they can remove those hurdles, the more people will give it a go. I don't think this was a by any stretch of the imagination easier experience than Deepstone Crypt in terms of jumping in and trying on contest mode. But I think that people are still excited to get in and experience it in that way. So the more people can do that, the better. So unreal.
Getting raid ready for day one attempts. Low light having 2 clan members forget we were doing day 1.
Oh God. Are they still clan members? Can we get the goals? 2 ex-clan members.
2 ex-clan members, yeah, true.
Thoughts on the raid exotic? I have not fired a fucking shot with it yet, but I will tonight. I'll check it out. I like the idea that it kind of hoards debuffs, but I'm yet to get my head around how practical that is in terms of actually using it in game.
Yeah, but do you know it also reloads on buffs?
So if you manage to gobble up a buff, it reloads the gun.
Yeah, so if you get your overshield, it'll reload it. If you get invisibility, it'll reload it. If you get devour, it'll reload it.
I'm getting a lot of overshields these days.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at. So you literally could just you could throw your Captain America shield and it will restore. But the thing is,
always give you the overshield though, does it?
Yeah, it just has to be a hit. Yeah.
Right, maybe I'm just.
It just can be really. It can be a really small overshield if it only gets a 1 hit.
Okay. Right.
But the devour is you don't have to reload because devour just keeps proccing if you get a kill.
I didn't even think of that. That might make it very broken. I had a go at devour. I actually had it in my my build for the raid, and I'm not quite sold on it. I'm still muddling my way through where I think I'll ultimately sit in terms of my build, which I think is great. Because everything I've done, I've been able to use effectively, but I'm still kind of fine tuning it, which I think is probably the intention of exploding a system like that, the way that they have, making it so much more modular. But beyond that, PvP, I'm going to need to think about that because I'm going to go into trials tonight and see what I can do. But I've got a horrible feeling I'm going to be running into overshielded titans and invisible hunters like fucking nobody's business. So,
I haven't done any PvP.
I mean, I haven't even thought. Look, that's where I live normally. Not that I'm any good at it, but that's normally where I live. I have not thought about PvP in Destiny aside from one night of comp in fucking 3 weeks. So that's how good the story content is. If there is any other metric that it can be measured by.
Said your boy, you're not listening. Buffs reload the weapon. Debuffs is what you steal from an enemy and you apply it to other people. You shoot, buffs proc the reload, debuffs you nick them and you apply them to someone else.
It's beautiful. I think it could be it might be something that's useful for one person to run. I don't know that it's necessarily a thing for everyone, but I don't know, time will tell. We'll see. I'm sure that there'll be a million creative ways to use it on the internet very, very fucking soon. So go for your life. All right. I think we're at time, Matty. What do you reckon? You got any closing comments? Anything else you want to discuss before we fuck off ski?
No, I'd just like to toot my own horn and say that highlight low lights is a great segment, and I'm glad we keep doing it.
I think you've nailed it. It's heaps better than the law will find you wherever the fuck, in a dark alley with the fucking knuckle dusters on or whatever.
You know what? It actually forces some pretty good feedback. It takes a lot of the emotion out when you get people to do highlight low light.
Yeah, because they have to couple the negative with something good. They can't just come in and shit. Or they can't just come in and, I don't know, whatever the opposite of shit is. Shill, I suppose. I think we're forcing you to give a balanced opinion. So, suck shit if you're not into it.
Patreon podcast coming back.
We need to bring that back. Yeah, fuck. We should do that. It's been a very busy time. All right. Well, we might close out there. Stand by for a raid. But what are your plans for through the week, Matty? Just going to be keeping on the law train? Fucking choo-choo.
Yeah. Monday, we'll probably read the. No, Monday we'll probably make a video on upending, the upended, the upender, whatever it's fucking called.
Upper Decker, yes.
Upper
yeah.
Decker.
Very
Probably that.
good.
We'll probably read Moth Law, and I need to finish the season this week as well.
Congrats on 250. It is completely somehow missed my attention that this was the 250th. This is the quarter fucking century of the DDU. Jesus Christ, we've wasted some fucking time on this shit, haven't we, Matty?
Oh, too much time, mate.
Too much time. All right, see you next week. Get fucked.
Bye.
Goodbye.